Okay, we're back on part 11. So we're talking about the SRT for the digital SHSAT. We're starting to explore the online platform itself through a tutorial. And we're going to start by looking at the navigation tools. All right, so this is going to be, there's not many navigation tools, but that's where we're going to go. And I just mentioned some of them already in part 10. All right, so let's get rid of this. Let's bring that back up. Okay. Um, all right, so we're going to start off again, and I'm going to post the link that I'm showing right now. Again, it's srt.testnav.com/whatever. You can see it in the previous video. It's also available. That link is also available on GregsTutoringNYC.com/digital SHSAT facts. Okay. All right. So let me go to that screen, and we'll just start getting the navigation tools on a roll. All right. So again, you would log into the platform in some certain ways. So the tutorial is a guest user, but there would be a sign-on capability on the real exam at some point. All right, we're going to start the tutorial. We're going to start the section there. This is going to get us ready, getting around. So it's already telling us select the next arrow at the top. So that's going to be the so-called right arrow. And the one that we can select here is the left arrow. If I click on it, it's not going to do anything because the tutorial is not set up for that. All right, so let's do that. We click on there. And that get us there, right? So it says select the next arrow to move on to the SRT. And by the way, this thing here is because the screen is split. See this expand and expand. See it can go back and forth that way, right? So, and I can click on that, and it brings just that up there. So we can actually control whether the video comes up or not. So technically, this is going to be your test platform because the video is not going to be on your test. All right. So anyway, that doesn't seem terribly handy at the moment. But when you get into actually answering questions, on the left side, instead of a video, you might have a passage or something like that. So there might be times when you're testing where you actually want to get that off the screen so it's not distracting you. The SRT doesn't seem to explain those two buttons, so that's why I'm mentioning them right now. So they're both expanding, meaning expand to the left or expand to the right. Okay. Anyway, it says select the next arrow to move on to the SRT. And if you click on the video, it's going to explain what's there, and then it has you try it. So I'm not going to sit through all the videos. You guys can do that on yourself. So if we do that, we go bam, right? So it wants us to do it up here, right? Now we have a previous one because before we didn't. Now if we go to the previous one, we're back to the screen we started from. So we can just navigate back and forth. Those are your basic navigation questions. So it says select next. We go to the next one. And that's it. It's basically telling us that we're done with the navigation tools. And this is how you can get around fast using those two buttons up there. Okay, you select the back to go and review. Okay, and you do the next to move on. Now, remember, these buttons are only going to be applicable really for the 2025 exam because that's the exam we're allowed to go back and to previous questions. They're saying so far that the 2026 exam is not going to allow you to do that. So on the 2026 buttons, I think that left button is going to be turned off, or it's not going to show on the screen at all. You're not going to be able to go to a previous question, and you're not going to be able to skip ahead. It has to be controlled from one question to the next. Okay, and again, they're saying the test is going to be 57 questions per section and 2 sections still. I don't know. All right, anyway, so there is some other kind of navigation capabilities here as well, and that's this review and this bookmark buttons up on the top here. All right, so if I'm at a specific question, and right now we're not, but we're at a certain place in the SRT. So if I click on review, it's basically a library of what the SRT is going to be making available to us. So for instance, we started out with navigation. We now have a next arrow, a back arrow, and now we're actually looking at the review list. So there's other kind of questions here that we can do in other tools like the answer limit, a highlighter, a notepad. All right. So at any point in at least the 2025 exam, you can click on that review button and go anywhere. So for instance, I'm here. If I want to go straight to the next arrow description, I'm going to click on that. And bam, it brought me back to that other thing, right? So now it's highlighting where I am, whereas a second ago, we were just on the review list. All right. So if I click on that, bam, it brings us back to where we just were. All right, so this is our library of where we can navigate to, basically, all right? And if you notice this top here says all questions, not answered questions, and bookmarks. So since this is just the SRT and there's no actual questions that you can answer, the not answers is going to stay 0 for the SRT. But in the real exam, and again, in particular on the 2025 exam, you're going to have a capability to see a different number. Okay, so you might be able to skip ahead on the 2025 exam or do the test backwards or some silly thing like that. Okay, so that is going to give us, so if we click on that, if you notice, there's nothing that shows up. Okay, and all questions is everything. And if I click on the bookmarks, nothing shows up either. Okay, so this is how I can search the library of capable things inside of there, right? So if we go back to the all, and if I come out of this, right, so we're currently at section 1 review list. If I click on the bookmark and make believe this was a question, let's say it was question 5. Now when we drop down the review, look what happens. See the little blue bookmark flag or whatever you call it? So that's how you can bookmark stuff. All right, and if you notice now, all questions was 0, not answers was 0. Now the bookmarks changed from 0 to 1. All right, so I can bookmark questions, and then if I do this, look, if I click on the bookmarks, it only shows me the things I bookmarked. So if this is questions, you can actually return back to it. All right, so this is kind of cute and handy. Again, there's no actual questions being shown right now, but that's still it, right? So, and then if we go to the side over here, these kind of things here, try it. Select the bookmark button to mark the question with a blue bookmark. Okay, I just did that. Okay, select the review button to see the bookmark question, right? So that's what we did. Select that, and we can see it here. All right, we can also click on that. Select the bookmark button again to remove your mark, all right? So it doesn't mean this button here, right? If I click on here, that just brings that. They're talking about the main button to control whether something's bookmarked or not. So let's say I go to question 5, it was bookmarked, I'm finally happy it's answered, and let's say I'm at question 5 right now, I click this again, the blue flag goes away, and now if I review my library, look what happens. There's no longer a bookmark on it, okay? So, and that number 1 here goes down to 0 again. So these are navigation tools, and it's kind of cute and handy. All right, so again, none of these are earth-shatteringly complicated. All right, so that's just kind of where we're going. So let's see here. I had put some notes down, so let me see if I covered everything. And then there's finally a submit answer button. All right, so that's the main. So basically, when we get to the end of a section, you can finally submit your answers. All right, so let's say you answered all the questions. There's nothing else to do. So it's basically going to bring you to something like this. Okay, again, this is the SRT, so there's no actual questions, but this is mocking the situation. So we would have end of section 1, all questions answered, and then you would submit your final answers. All right, so I'm actually going to go through that process and click that. Wait, did I click it? Okay, and then it has to make sure, like, are you sure you want to do this? No, cancel it. So it brings us back to that. Otherwise, submit final answers, and submit final answers over here. Bam. Sign out complete. Thank you for using TestNav. So basically, you're done with the test. All right, so on the real test, because you would have 2 sections, a math and the ELA, there's probably going to be some more capability here on the exam to let you go back and forth between the 2 of them. But at some point, you are going to submit all your answers, okay? And on the 2026 version of the exam, you cannot go back to a section because you can't even go back to a question. So that's how you're going to close out the math versus the ELA if it stays that way. All right, so these are your main navigation tools. And that's kind of that. There's not much more to it. All right, there's a few people out there. Please like and subscribe. Right, I do a lot of work for you guys, and this is gonna be helpful in the processing of it. So please like and subscribe. And unless there's a question now, I'm gonna end this video, and we're gonna do another video on some of the other tools. There's a section in the SRT called My Tools. Okay, so we're gonna explore some of those. All right, so I'll be back in 5 minutes again. Any other questions? Nope, I don't see any. All right, okay, so we're gonna end this and come back in 5 minutes again.